Hello, and welcome. We have a question. Is Jesus on the cross till the end of time? It is of utmost importance to consider whether this be true or not. If he is, we had better consider the ramifications of what this means. Some people think of Calvary as something that came and went 2,000 years ago, and that it's over, and Jesus is now in glory. So, is it over? If it's not over, we need to know this and take corrective action, because our eternity depends on it. To do this, we must speak openly of what Protestants believe. They believe just that. Calvary is over and done with. Everything is finished, and Jesus is now in glory. To begin, Calvary is a one-time sacrifice, as Protestants claim, and Jesus is now in glory. But they miss something which amounts to a denial of Christ's divinity. They miss the fact that, although Calvary is a one-time sacrifice, it is a one-time sacrifice that is present to all time and place. So, we need to consider how and why Calvary is present to all of time and place. When speaking to the Jews of his time, Jesus said of himself, "Before Moses came to be, I am." Imagine Jesus, in the present tense as a man, speaking 2,000 years ago, said that he was before Moses, which is the same as saying he is before all ages. He claimed to be God when he said, "Before Moses came to be, I am," which is why the Jews wanted to kill him. In other words, his human nature, with its finiteness, became a single reality with his infinite divine person. He also said, "I will be with you to the end of time," to the apostles of his time, while he was personally present to them. So, what do we have here? Jesus speaks of himself, 2,000 years ago, as a man who is present to the past, when speaking of Moses, present to the present, when speaking to the Jews, and present to the future when speaking to his apostles. Jesus is speaking as a man in both directions of time from a specific point in time when speaking to the Jews and to the apostles. The fact he spoke in both directions of time means his entire life, including Calvary, is present to all time and place, regardless of which moment in his life you wish to speak about. What does this mean? It means you cannot separate him from any time and place. If you go backwards 1 minute, or 1,000 years, or 10,000 years, you meet the same Jesus, because he is the great I Am. Yes, if you go back 33 years when Jesus was just a babe in the manger, you meet the same Jesus who was speaking to the Jews as a man. If you go forward 1 minute, or 33 years when he ascended into glory, or 1,000 years, or 10,000 years, you meet the same Jesus when speaking to the apostles. Didn't he say, "I will be with you till the end of time"? Of course he did. This means the moment he stepped into time, his entire life, as a man, is personally present in real time, at any time, inside and outside of time, because he is God. His entire life became an instrument of his omnipresence. And we can demonstrate that. Suppose there were 2 circles, a larger one, and a smaller one. The larger one represents God, the second person of the Most Holy Trinity. Could that larger circle represent God? No, of course not. Why? Because God is beyond all size. Could the humanity of Jesus, the smaller circle, be joined, or united to a spot, or place on the second person of the most blessed Trinity? No. Why? Because there is no spot, or place, on the infinite second person of the Trinity to which the human nature of Jesus is joined. It is impossible, because once again, that would be to define God according to parts and size. God has no parts, or places on his divine being. This means, Jesus, the man, is numerically one and identical with the second person of the blessed Trinity. Therefore, his human nature is omnipresent. That is why Jesus, the man, can say what he said. So, Jesus is present to all of time, and Calvary is in time, at a specific point in time. And this means that Jesus is present on the cross to all time and place, because Jesus is present to all of time and place. And the good Lord is gracious in his mercy. This is why the self-same reality of Jesus on the cross is in the Holy Mass, and made accessible to us by the power he gave to the priesthood. Yes, the nails, the crown of thorns, the shedding of blood, everything is present. It is the selfsame sacrifice, the selfsame victim for sin, and to deny this reality is to deny his divinity. The only thing that changes about Calvary are the people who get to be there. We can be there when we come to exist, because Jesus, the man, meets us in time. He goes before us into the future in the Holy Mass. Not only is Jesus on the cross till the end of time, but he also continues to suffer in his mystical body, where he continues to redeem the world by suffering in us. And we, with him, can say as St. Paul said, "In my own flesh, I make up what is lacking in the suffering of Christ, for the sake of his body, the Church." Colossians 1, verse 24. Thanks for listening, and God bless you.